Cool. Hello, everyone. We are live. Everyone, thank you for joining us today for the Pastrami Nation podcast. I'm your host today, Kevin. Today, we're joined by a really, really cool group of people. Of course, you know him. He's the founder, co-founder of Pastrami Nation, editor of Pastrami Nation, Mr. Nolan Smith. How are you?
Howdy. How's everybody doing?
Good, man. Good. And of course, we have Christian with us today. How you doing today, Christian?
Good to be here. Good to be back.
Yay, Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, we have the host of the Sarlacc Digest podcast joining us today.
One of the
Scott.
many. One of the many hosts.
One of the many hosts.
There are 5 of us. So
Okay.
yeah.
One of the many hosts of the Sarlacc Digest podcast here joining us today. And today we're going to be talking about the book of Boba Fett, which just ended its season run yesterday. So yeah, let's go ahead and just dive into it. First of all, let's just talk about first impressions. What do we think? Are we, were we excited about it? Were we happy with it? What are your guys' thoughts?
Are we going to take turns? How do we think? I feel.
Yeah. Jump in. Heck yeah.
Let's jump on in.
I mean, I was very excited for it to begin with. I like, what they did with Boba Fett in the Mandalorian was awesome. How could we not be excited for it? And then that teaser at the end of the Mandalorian season 2, Star Wars gangster movie, or series, that's going to be awesome. So yeah, anticipation was high going in, I would say, very much so. But yeah, I don't know. You guys will probably want to add to that.
I will not stop talking. So if anybody else wants to go first,
So yeah, I felt the same way coming off of Mando season 2. I was ready for Book of Boba Fett. It was exciting. It was, I was excited to enter this world that I really didn't know a whole lot about. With this character who was just this mysterious. Listen, I understand like people probably know a lot about him reading comic books and all these other things. I don't know anything about him. I'm the kind of the average Star Wars viewer. I've seen all the movies. I've seen some of the Clone Wars. I've been on Star Tours. that's the extent, but I love it all. I think it's great. So it was really fun to be able to jump into it and to learn about this character. And so at first I was very excited about it.
At first I'm hearing like keywords.
I know.
Listen,
I hate.
Well, Kevin also hated Ghostbusters, so I mean,
I did not hate Ghostbusters. I actually quite enjoyed Ghostbusters. It's the whole fan servicey thing that, anyways, we'll get into that on another time, another podcast. But overall, I thought it was like 50-50 for me. Like the first part of the season was kind of slow. It kind of started to lose me a little bit. I don't know if it was just because I just wasn't into I just wasn't feeling Boba Fett, as much as I feel like I should have. I feel like it's kind of like that whole thing, where you kind of see what's behind the mask, where you kind of the magician shows his tricks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always found like Boba Fett to be a fascinating character. I didn't really need to see more. I like the mystery of it, right? This still left plenty to kind of be explored of his, past. But to me, that kind of plays into my thoughts on a lot of these kind of things. I just don't need to see too much. And I felt like I saw too much till about halfway through. So, yeah.
I want to jump in on this. Scott's going to be the opposite of you. So Scott is like a diehard Star Wars fan. Like if anybody
that's awesome, though. That's great.
It's going to be him. So I'll jump in real quick to say, I love Star Wars, grew up off of Star Wars, love Boba Fett from his like small amount of lines in Return of the Jedi. And then from what we saw in the comics, and then of course what we saw in the prequels with Django, I love the actor. I think he's a fantastic actor. I'm a little bit in the same boat as you, Kevin. That to me it started a little slow for me. But if I had to rate the whole thing overall, overall it was excellent. It felt like Star Wars, and I think that's the best compliment I can give it. It felt like Star Wars to me. So I do have some nitpicking in there, but overall, it was really enjoyable. This last episode was fantastic. Scott, I'm dying to know what you thought.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, overall, the series, once you're able to watch it from start to finish. I'd give it a solid B plus, A minus if we're giving it a letter grade.
Okay.
I was not a Boba Fett fan. And the reason why I was not a Boba Fett fan is because he looks incredible. And that's the amount of his depth.
Right.
He kind of never did anything. I mean, the dude got killed, quote unquote, by a blind guy with a stick. Exactly. I mean, and then you talk about the mystery. One of the cooler things, the cooler aspects of him was that he was such a mystery. And then you go back to Attack of the Clones, and all of a sudden, the mystery is gone. He is a clone. He is like as they say, he's the alpha clone to Omega from the Bad Batch, being the Omega clone. I do not know why. I can't clear my throat right now. So, anyway, he is the alpha clone that was, of course, not altered to age fast or anything like that. And that kind of killed some of the mystery. Also, to see him, as a little kid running around chasing after his dad, and all that. It just, Attack of the Clones is notoriously my least favorite Star Wars movie of the entire saga. Okay, so I will not harp on this too much, but Django is awesome. Too. What's that?
I'm sorry. I said I hate Sam too. Don't worry.
So Tamura Morrison playing Django and then playing Boba Fett was amazing. I thought him coming back and reprising that role in The Mandalorian was amazing. Whenever the book of Boba Fett starts and you see how he escaped the Sarlacc pit, that has been every fanboy's dream to see how he got himself out of that mess. And then things kind of, they went a little off the rails at times. And it's like, there's some things in the series that I don't think they quite translated properly. Like, he was with the Tusken Raiders before he found his armor from Mandalorian, before he got it on Tython from Din Djarin. He was on Tatooine for about 5.5 to 6 years. And I don't think in those 3 or 4 episodes where there were the flashbacks that it quite conveyed the sense of time there. And, how long was he with the Tuskens? How long was he on his own? How long, Star Wars is notoriously bad at showing you how time passes. And like Empire Strikes Back, they're on the Falcon going to Bespin for like 3 or 4 weeks. And it just looks like they were there for a couple days. So that's one of the issues I had with it. But overall, I'm jumping all over the place here. No, overall, I thought it was an excellent show. And I think my grade would be a lot lower had it not been for the final 3 episodes. Maybe the final 4 episodes, because the episode where he found the dead bodies of the Tuskens and all that was pretty powerful too. So maybe the final 4 episodes I really, really enjoyed.
I mean, I would consider myself a pretty big Star Wars fan too. I do love Star Wars. I go back and forth with Boba. Like in the end, it's the same thing. Like what did he actually ever do in the original trilogy? You know what I mean? Like he stood there, like he didn't even catch Han. He
Darth Vader caught Han. That's the thing. He went.
Yeah. He said no disintegration. So like, I mean, I was really excited for the show. We watched all of them at midnight. For me, it's just those 2 episodes though. I think I'm giving it a lot lower grade than everybody else here is. I don't know what it is. I felt like it was moving really slow. I think maybe I think they played their card with the Mandalorian and they couldn't do it again with Boba. You know what I mean? Like the cool, like silent, like badass. We're gonna do it twice. You know what I mean? So it's like they had to do something different. And then for them to have to like justify the transition of him being like a bad guy who was helping Darth Vader, who died trying to kill like Luke and Han and Chewie, to all of a sudden now like I'm gonna fix Tatooine. Like I'm gonna make Tatooine cool. But I get it. You're doing the story with the Tusken Raiders, so that's cool. But then I just feel like maybe I love Tamura Morrison too, but I think they were kind of dealing with, like, writers were dealing with like having their hands behind. Okay, sorry. Let's get into like episode like 5 and 6, because I think that's kind of like the big talking point, right? I feel like I understand why they did it here, But now at the end of it, I just wish they saved that for Mando season 3. Like, because I really, and this is like, and I have to credit my girlfriend for this, like the way that they resolved, like the big question, right, that Grogu was asked by Luke, right, the way that they resolved that in the last episode, it felt cheap. Like that, it was such a beautiful thing that they did. Like, and then the way that they ended it was like just like beautiful storytelling. And then like, oh, that's shiny. Like, you know what I mean? It just shows up with R2. And then like, also, how did R2 know? Like, how did R2 know that Grogu knew that lady? You know what I mean? They just like, or is that the only place to land a ship in all of Tatooine? You know what I mean? Like that is just weird to me. I think also I hated the teenagers. Like the cyberpunk teenagers, I couldn't stand them.
A lot of people did. Yeah,
I think I think it was episode 3, and that last episode I just didn't like. And I realizing it's Robert Rodriguez, man. I hate to go there, but like I feel like he's just like, hey, remember El Mariachi? Hey, remember? You know what I mean? Like he's like, look, I'll do it again. And the guy doing like a spin move. Like, why are you spinning? Like I don't know. It was so weird to me.
That didn't bother me as much as I love Robert Rodriguez. I'm like I'm a huge fan, but I don't feel like he works. This one just felt very much like almost like a director for hire, but he was kind of putting little things here and there, like you said, the spin move and everything.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I just feel like he had. I mean, obviously, he would be invested in Boba Fett. He was the one who directed, like Boba Fett's return in The Mandalorian. And I just feel like they did all this stuff with like Mando and Grogu, and he was like, "Can I cuss? Or are we not cussing on this thing?" I don't know, but he was just like, "Forget all that stuff. Like, I care about Boba Fett." So like, oh, we did all this awesome stuff with Grogu in the last episode. Whatever, just have him show up. It's like Luke didn't care. He was like, "Oh, that's how you answered my question. Fuck off my planet." And like, just like R2, drop this kid off wherever. I don't care. Like, I don't know. It felt really like cheap to like.
It's an interesting take on that because I felt like that last episode. I think they did that pretty well with you didn't have to see him when he chose which part.
Right. Like, no, I'm not saying that we needed to. Right.
And I thought it was a little weird too. At first, I was like, "Wait, Grogu's flying an X-wing? Like this is like strong force crap." But I mean, it's R2. Like R2 is like one of the saviors of the entire saga. So to me, I felt like it did definitely pick up with the Mandalorian coming in. I often like refer to Boba Fett as like, okay, so Star Wars is about like intergalactic, piracy and fighting and this and that and justice and injustice. And then Boba Fett's about, let's go make an appointment with the mayor. And you're like, well, nobody wants to do that stuff. But I felt like the last year was really, really well done. I really liked the Cad Bane showdown with Fett because it really showed that, like Boba Fett's not somebody you mess with. Like, even though he's trying to turn that other leaf, like he'll screw you up. And then I know a lot of people were angry about the way Cad Bane looked, but how else was he going to look? He looked like Cad Bane to me.
If you look at the Clone Wars and Rebels themselves, they're very stylized cartoons. Look at the way they drew Count Dooku. Okay, Count Dooku in the Clone Wars looks insane. I mean, he looks amazing. And then you got Christopher Lee, who is a badass, but he doesn't look like that. It's all artist interpretation. People need to chill out. And that's what I like to tell everybody who is bashing all of Star Wars right now and every little microscopic aspect of it. Chill the hell out. Sit back, quit over analyzing it, sit back and enjoy the ride, because I mean, ultimately we didn't sit down in the theaters in 1977, 80 and 83 and overanalyze every little thing. We were in it for the ride. We were kids too. So, I mean, now that we're all adults and we're comparing them to this, to the new saga, to the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy and the prequel trilogy, we are just going off the rails and forgetting to enjoy it. And honestly, I think that if everybody just calm the fuck down and relax, sit back and enjoy watching Boba Fett playing the Godfather on screen, literally scenes taken from the Godfather on screen, chill out, enjoy it for what it is, Probably my biggest gripe of it was the show up until episodes 5 and 6 was Tatooine. I'm so damn tired of Tatooine, but I get it. That's where he needed to be. That's where he was, that's where his armor was. There's a reason for that. And I mean, they introduced Cobb Vanth for his armor. Cobb Vanth was in the Aftermath novels. Mm-hmm. It told his story in those novels, and we got to see it in live action.
Which is really cool.
That's incredible. Bringing novelizations into canon, into, visual form. They've never really done that before, So to me, people just need to relax. Just relax, enjoy it. I can nitpick the hell out of every episode to death. Even the fact that, like you said, the mods, the kids, the Power Rangers, as you called them, the mods did not feel like they belonged on Tatooine. Yeah. They felt like they belonged mainly on, say, Coruscant. Okay. Right, even the main, I think her name's Thrash. She has a Coruscanti accent, but yet she was born, as she said, and raised in the streets of Tatooine. Those two things don't jive, but otherwise, so what? So they had one episode where they did a slow speed chase through Tatooine, through Mos Espa streets. Whatever, it's fine. That was one part of an episode. Right. I don't know. They don't bother me as much as they bother others. So,
well, you made a good point, Scott. Like, just kind of enjoy it, because we didn't have Star Wars series for a while. We were lucky with the Clone Wars. We were lucky with the animated series that we got, but we didn't have live action until we hit Mandalorian, right? And I think from Mandalorian to now, like, it's almost spoiled us that we get to see Star Wars on the small screen, original stories. Like you said, Cobb Vanth, like, how cool is that to see? With the Mandalorian, we saw people pop up that were just in the cartoons or just in novels, and it was
Ahsoka Tano, one of my favorite characters, Ahsoka Tano. I mean, oh my God, to see her on screen with her lightsabers just cutting through people. I mean, that was insane.
Right.
Yeah. And now, and her question, at the end of that episode of The Mandalorian is, where's Grand Admiral Thrawn? Come on, what's coming.
That was a big moment when that happened. Yeah, we're doing it.
And all of these series, whenever they announced all the series, Mandalorian and the Ahsoka series and the Lando series, and I don't know if the Rangers of the New Republic is on or off again. They keep changing their minds on that, but all of it's supposed to link up Avenger style into an event. And if you see it, that is why, one of the reasons why Mando was in this show.
Right.
Okay. Number one, there's a lot of storytelling they need to do. Right. And if he gets rid of, you think about it, he gets rid of Grogu in the final episode of Mandalorian season 2. You start up season 3, Mandalorian with no Grogu, you're going to lose all, as we call them, the muggles, the people that don't sit back and live and breathe and eat and drink Star Wars, right? They're going to be like, where's Baby Yoda? Why is Baby Yoda not in the show?
I need my Baby Yoda fix.
We need our Baby Yoda, right?
Yeah.
So you get the kid back in his hands. You use Book of Boba Fett to bring those characters back together again. You push the story forward, and then you don't need the exposition of finding out why is Baby Yoda noobs show up? Wait, I thought he was gone in Mandalorian season 2. Oh no, you got to go watch Book of Boba Fett. Oh crap. Okay. I'm going to go tune into that and see what happened with Grogu. It's masterful storytelling, if you ask me.
Yeah. I think the other function of like having Mando and like these 2 episodes essentially be like 2 episodes of The Mandalorian is to show that it's not just like, yes, there's like Mandalorian season 1 and season 2 and then Book of Boba Fett, but affectionately, like, it's all one big giant story that they're telling through these like separate shows. I think that's really cool.
I have a point to that too. I honestly think this should have been called The Mandalorian season 3, The Book of Boba Fett. If you just keep it all in there, Boba Fett is still a Mandalorian. He's still telling a Mandalorian story. The Mandalorian shows up, then people won't claim, oh, look at this, Mandalorian stealing Boba Fett's show. If you just would have called it The Mandalorian season 3, Book of Boba Fett. Right. I don't think people would be so up in arms that Boba wasn't the sole focus of his show.
Right.
And Fennec Shand is doing all the Fennec Shand. I tell you what, I think Fennec Shand's got some plans, man. She's she's ruthless, and she's kind of dictating.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Dude, and she's kind of dictating to him what he needs to do.
Yeah. She was my favorite character throughout the whole series.
That was just cold-blooded murder at the end there, though, right?
It was. Yes.
I mean, not that they didn't deserve it, but like I was like, this okay.
there was one missed opportunity that I counted in the final episode, and that is you've got Boba Fett squaring off against Cad Bane. They're staring at each other, and you've got Fennec Shand behind saying, "Stop it! Don't do it! Don't do it!" Cad Bane should have recognized Fennec Shand from their showdown on the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
I think that little, and I didn't realize that. It wasn't until Chris from our show I think it was Chris on our show brought it up, and I'm like, oh my God, you're right. That would have added just that one line, like "keep to yourself, Shand," or something like that, would have added just another layer of depth to the overall mythos.
So I saw a thing, I guess, like, because I was pretty upset. I'm like, did they just kill Cad Bane? Like, they brought him into live action just to kill him. But then I guess, like, there's like a little beeping thing on his chest to show that he's still alive. But that's pretty deep cut.
I think that gave him like an out if they decide to take it. I think, honestly, all of his appearances in Clone Wars plus his appearance in the Bad Batch, and apparently Duros, us Star Wars geeks know all this crap. Duros don't live that long. They actually age faster than humans. So it's like Chris, again, on our show, pointed out he's like a 90-year-old facing off against a 40-year-old out there in the streets. Because, so Boba Fett is only about my age. He's only like 47 years old in this thing. He just looks like hell. Because, I like to attribute that to Sarlacc juices. Yeah. But, I honestly think it was cool to have Cad Bane there. It was cool that it was the same guy, Corey Burton, doing the voice. I mean, that was insane. And I think he needed to go. I think it needed to prove that Boba Fett could show down again against Cad Bane and walk away the last man standing. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but when his hat rolled off, he had the metal plate on his head. Do you know why he had the metal plate on his head?
That unfinished scene that they never put into Clone Wars.
Clone Wars. Yeah, there was an episode that was never finished where it was young Boba Fett, like Daniel Logan age Boba Fett versus Cad Bane in the streets doing a old spaghetti Western quick draw. And they both got off headshots. Boba Fett shot Cad Bane in the head, and Cad Bane shot Boba Fett in the helmet, giving him the dent.
Right.
And that's where the dent came from in Boba Fett's helmet. Mm-hmm. And I really kind of wanted to see them do that in this episode. I wanted to see like a flashback. Daniel Logan's begging for work. So, I mean, you can get Daniel Logan to do that scene. I just think maybe it would have been one showdown too many in the streets of Tatooine, but I was really kind of hoping we'd see this show didn't shy away from flashbacks. So I just think that was kind of a missed opportunity. See, I told you get me talking. I won't stop.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So let's talk about Mandalorian season 3. Obviously, I mean, it's got to be coming, of course.
Yeah.
We got, like you said, you got the gang back together. You got Grogu. You got Mando back together. What do you think the series kind of, obviously brought them together, but what do you think the series means for Mandalorian season 3? Are we going to see more Boba Fett? I think we will, obviously. But do you have any theories, ideas where the story can lead?
Scott, you
talking to me?
No,
I think you brought up a good point about like Star Wars being bad at like showing how much time has passed. So my real question is like, how much training did Grogu get? Right? Like, because like how was it? Was it months? Was it weeks? Like, I don't know what it was.
Well, Luke said something in that episode whenever he touched Grogu's head and he started seeing his memories and he started seeing Order 66 and he saw the stormtrooper or the clone troopers coming at him and the falling Jedi around him. Luke said that he is remembering more than Luke is teaching him.
Yeah.
And, we know that he's 50 years old and that the Clone Wars happened, I want to say at this point, roughly about 30 years has passed since Order 66. So Grogu was in the temple for about 20 years learning and, just being around Jedi. What he could absorb being that young and how slowly they age, I don't know. For all I know, he could know more than Luke. And right. We might see that as the show goes on. We might see his powers get bigger and bigger. But you ask what is coming, and I mean the obvious question is essentially Din Djarin is the ruler of Mandalore. By all rights, he is the wielder of the Darksaber, and he it is up to him now to try and unite. Honestly, I think this is where it's going. I think it's up to him to unite the warring factions of Mandalorians, because you've got the Children of the Watch, which is the Armorer and Paz Vizsla. You've got Bo-Katan and her minions, the Night Owls, I think is what they're called.
Mhm.
So you've got the Night Owls, you've got the Children of the Watch, you've got Din Djarin and his family of 2, which I think is now 3. I think Boba Fett probably thinks of him as a member of the clan, you know. So you've got 3 warring factions now. God only knows who else is out there. We know Sabine Wren is out there too. Where is she going to side in all this? Is she going to take a side? I mean, there is a lot to unpack here. And with them bringing Sabine into Ahsoka's show, chasing after Grand Admiral Thrawn, how much of this is going to go towards that? We have this theory on the show that they're bringing up the original Thrawn trilogy, and they're going to adapt it with the new canon of characters, with the Rebels cast, and with Din Djarin and Boba Fett now. And I don't know if it's going to go more towards that and lean towards that, you know, the heir to the Empire through Last Command, or if they're going to go follow the rule of Mandalore. Who's going to take over? Who's going to unite the families? Will it take uniting the families to take on Grand Admiral Thrawn? In those books, Grand Admiral Thrawn had a horde of Nogri, like these aliens that did his bidding. Those don't really exist in this canon. They killed off one of them in Rebels, and they haven't shown any more. Will he take Mandalorians under his wing? Will he control a sect of Mandalore? I mean, the woman that fought Ahsoka with the Beskar spear. Where'd you get the Beskar spear from? You know, where'd you get the Beskar from? Is it from Mandalorians that are possibly working with Grand Admiral Thrawn? There's a lot of questions up there, and honestly, nobody but the writer group knows what's going on. But if I had my way, just put me in that writer's room. I'm ready.
Man, that would be awesome. So, obviously, we know the next series coming in Star Wars is it's dated. It's good to go. May 25th. We got Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
You guys excited for that? What do you guys think?
I can't wait for more stories on Tatooine.
I love sand.
I just love it. I mean, I've only grown up around it my entire life. I'm excited for it. I hope he goes off world. I hope we maybe see some. I mean, we know they're not afraid of flashbacks. I hope we see some flashbacks with him and Anakin.
Yes.
There's some debate, you know, that they're saying it's going to be another showdown between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan. And I'm like, does that really fit though? Because in A New Hope, he's like, the presence I've not felt since.
Right.
Since when? Since Revenge of the Sith, or since the Obi-Wan Kenobi series? I don't know. Yeah. But I'm excited.
Sure.
Ewan McGregor, you kidding me?
Let's do this. Ewan McGregor's
I'm ready now.
He's the best. As long as they get Rian Johnson back to direct, I'm good. Nolan's a huge fan of Rian Johnson.
Yeah, we still have to have that Last Jedi podcast. Yes.
What's that?
We still have to have the Last Jedi podcast.
Oh yeah, we'll have it. Well, that'll happen. What about you, Christian? You excited for it?
I'm very excited for it. I can't wait. I'm happy to hear that Hayden Christensen's coming back. To what extent? That's awesome. I don't know. Does that mean that because I'd love to see Ahsoka and him. I don't know. So I know they had their little thing. Not little thing, but like, you know, another encounter as Darth Vader. So I don't know if that would be redundant, but I don't know. Just now that we have Ahsoka in the world, that'd be cool. But again, just to hear Ewan McGregor talk about in interviews and saying like how excited he is to work with Hayden again, like that makes me excited to see it.
Yeah,
right. Know? So I have no clue what's gonna happen, but I'm here for it. So.
Yeah, there is a just by the way, if anyone wants to check it out, there's a actors on Variety. I think it's on YouTube where Ewan McGregor and Pedro Pascal just kind of interview each other.
That's cool.
It's it's a great episode. I think it's like half an hour or something. It's just they talk about their Star Wars stories and they talk about Obi-Wan and Mandalorian and all kinds of cool stuff. So
how jealous Ewan is that Pedro actually gets to work with stormtroopers, people in suits instead of people in green motion capture suits. So I'm excited for that. But I mean, anytime you guys want to talk Last Jedi, just let me know, because in my opinion, Last Jedi is the best film in that new trilogy.
Oh, well,
thank you.
We have 3 people now. Oh, 4 people. 4 people.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have one. We're gonna have a
Yeah, we're
Last
gonna
Jedi.
have a mega one.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
Yes, I
I
mean-
will gladly hate on it till I die. So I'm
You go
excited.
for it, man. You
I-
go.
yeah,
Not-
I-
it's not for everybody, but
It's
Yeah,
not.
no, I really I like Last Jedi. I
Christian
love Last Jedi.
disappeared. He's like, I can't even take it.
I'm so excited for it. No. I need to talk about this. It's one of the most beautifully shot Star Wars movies, I think, honestly. And also like Rogue One. But if we're gonna go there, but
it is
yeah.
visually stunning. It is
really
visually
is.
stunning.
We'll make sure
the
we invite you to
cinematography is amazing. What's that?
We'll make sure we invite you. Definitely want to get your input on it, because me and Kevin go back and forth just on random days. Just it's garbage. Hey, yeah, it's
we'll
the
have
best.
Brandon on. We'll have everyone
And-
on.
Yeah, we'll have Cinemast. We'll have Sarlacc. We'll have Pastrami Nation.
Oh, dude, there you
It's
go.
set up. It's set up so many cool ideas that they chickened out of because of the fan backlash. They quit. They gave up on it and gave in to people,
Which
and
is
gave us a
horrible.
train wreck of a movie.
No,
which
they should have doubled down. Like going
They
into
should
the
have.
third movie. Yeah, they should have.
They
doubled
really
down.
should have. I agree. I think
don't kowtow to the naysayers. Just do it.
Yeah, because they had a cool vision going on. I was joking about Rian Johnson, but I love Rian Johnson. He's one of my
Knives
favorite
Out's
filmmakers.
amazing.
Yes, and we
And
got
I
Knives
think-
Out 2 coming out soon.
Yeah, dude, Knives
Yeah.
Out 2 is coming out, and I think he took what he wanted to do with Star Wars. He was like, I want to do this. I'm going to do this.
Yeah. I will say I don't agree with everything that he did, but
Oh, not at all.
Yeah,
In every Star Wars movie, I can pick out something I don't enjoy,
Right.
and
absolutely.
but even in the Last Jedi, though, the things I didn't enjoy, I kind of understand why it was done, and it took a lot of views and a lot of soul searching to figure out that okay, maybe Canto Bight wasn't completely useless, but it was pretty useless. Last Jedi, it suffers from that time thing again, but opposite this time, where Star Wars is always really bad at conveying time. The Last Jedi actually put a time frame on it that didn't work. They had 16 hours to get from point A to point B and back again. And during that 16 hours, like 4 or 5 days passed on Acto and this, that, and the other thing. And just Star Wars. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Love it. That's about it.
Yep.
Well, I want to just real quick let everybody know that if you're dropping a comment, you have till Sunday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Drop a comment. You'll be entered to win a Funko Pop Boba Fett figurine that will be shipped to you wherever you're at. So just leave that comment. Sunday, I'll pop on and I'll be like, hey, this is who won. So just join the conversation. I see we got Scott Winters, Arturo,
Can we get on that?
Crystal Lamphere, Jason Bean, Heather, Arturo, Brian Brenegar. We got comments, so keep them coming. We're all entitled to our opinion. So if you're like, hey, it sucked, okay, cool, that's cool. That's your opinion.
That's the fun part about it.
If anybody follows me on Facebook, you saw my rants on Hawkeye. Like, we are entitled to our opinions, and
I loved Hawkeye.
that's got to be another episode. There's ever a dumpster fire of a Marvel series, it was that.
Completely disagree.
But that's what I like, though. We're able to have those talks, and that's what I think Last Jedi is going to end up being for us. When we can respectfully agree and disagree. That okay, you like this, we like this. I don't know if I can be respectful about Hawkeye, but I would try my best.
I liked Hawkeye. I really enjoyed it. I'll say this much: I am currently. I love the Disney Plus stuff. I'm happy with what they do generally. I loved Loki. But when it comes down to like a Marvel series, it's still Daredevil to me.
Yep.
Like what Netflix did with Daredevil. Like I'm rewatching it again. I
just did. Yeah.
Just got my hands on this guy. Pretty
Oh,
happy
look at
with
that.
it. Super cool. But yeah, I don't know. I'm rewatching again and just like, oh my God, I feel like this needs to be respected as like one of the better TV series like out there.
Right.
But anyway.
I appreciate your comments, Christian, because I agree with them. But I appreciate them.
Wow.
Oh. But yeah, we'll make that Last Jedi episode happen, I promise. And Scott will shoot
that'll be fun.
I'd love to get your input. And Kevin's just gonna him and Brandon are gonna have a great But
Brian in the comments, this is just awesome. I was just talking about when we were watching the episode, like at first when I thought Cad Bane was CGI, and then I realized this last episode, like this is prosthetic, and like and whatever. And then I'm like, is this Doug Jones? And she's like, no, he's too tall to be Doug Jones. I'm like, Doug Jones can look tall. I'm like, he's a skinny dude. From its proportion. So Brian, thank you for bringing that to
Was it wasn't Doug Jones though, right? Was it Doug Jones?
Apparently it was.
Was it?
I had to Google if it was Doug Jones. Was it Doug Jones? I'm sorry, Brian. I misread your thing. I thought you were saying that it was.
Doug Jones is busy on Star Trek Discovery right now. I don't know.
Right.
No, it wasn't. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Oh, it wasn't. Darn.
That's a bummer. This was Boner Shrinker. I was super excited that was going to be.
I thought you were talking about the other Brian Brenniger comment that said Hawkeye was better than Loki, which is just blasphemy.
I don't know about that.
Hey, listen, I'm a Hawkeye apologist as well, but I wouldn't say it's better than Loki.
Yeah, I don't know.
Loki and WandaVision. Those are my two favorites.
WandaVision.
Loki was kind of all over the place. WandaVision I really enjoyed because I grew up watching all those old sitcoms that they based all those the shows off of. And it just got really dark and very emotional. Loki was an interesting exploration into the mind of a sociopath in love with himself.
Yep.
And the ending scene meant nothing to me. The whenever the big reveal of the big villain, because I am not a huge Marvel comic reader. I did in the past. My breadth of knowledge of Marvel comics it's pretty good, but it's not that good. I know who he was supposed to be, but I think they did a lousy job at conveying who he was supposed to be. It drove more people to Google than it probably did to Marvel Comics. They're probably who the hell was that on Google instead of to a rack of Marvel Comics to figure out who he was. But overall, I really enjoyed Loki. I really like Sylvie. I think she's awesome. But I'm sorry. There was something about Hawkeye being set at Christmas time, the banter between the two of them, the comic that it was loosely based on is incredible. And the way they hit some of those nuances and some of those scenes, the way they translated them on screen, for me, it really worked. And I love the fact that they brought Kingpin into it. I don't think Kingpin's dead. You can't bring Kingpin into it and kill him off that easily. But the way that she had the guts to stand up to him and really try and fight him, I loved it because she just kept getting her ass beat, and it showed true character and a true hero trying to fight against terrible odds. And I don't know, Hawkeye just really worked for me. I loved it.
Right.
We're just gonna make face-off episodes, and we're just gonna
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was too long.
That was probably my least favorite of the series, to be honest.
That's the one I was looking for.
It could have been a movie.
Yeah. I wanted him in that suit by episode 3. I wanted because I love that character, and it drug it out a little too long. So
yeah, absolutely.
Well, maybe before Midnight happens, we'll do a quick little face-off so we can debate the Marvel series. What was good and what wasn't in our opinion, and then what our hopes are of Midnight, as Midnight's going to be landing soon in March.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which one?
Absolutely. Moon Knight.
Oh, Moon Knight. Right. Okay. Yeah.
That cast is just amazing. But anyways, that's another podcast another time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Batman meets Hawkman. I mean, how can you not love it? He's an archaeologist, Batman. I mean,
with multiple personalities.
Multiple personality disorder. It's awesome.
Yep.
Exactly.
Well, before we start wrapping up, Scott, you wanted to let everybody know how they can find Sarlacc Digest?
Oh, sure. We do a show every Wednesday. We go live on YouTube at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. Pacific time every Wednesday on youtube.com/Sarlacc Digest Podcast. And you can always find us on Twitter, Sarlacc Digest Podcast. Everywhere you can think of Sarlacc Digest Podcast. We also have a Facebook group where we continue our conversation, the Sarlacc Digest Central. I know Nolan's in that group. Check it out, man. We talk for about an hour and a half on Star Wars, and then we move it on over to Facebook and just keep it going. So just check us out. And you can find me, The Art of Scott Solo on Instagram, or just, you'll see me in the Sarlacc Digest. So.
And Scott's no stranger to Pastrami Nation. We've had him on a few episodes. He's a fantastic guy. And the things they're doing over there at Sarlacc, you got to check it out. It's definitely my favorite source for Star Wars news. So make sure you go check that out. Subscribe, all the fun stuff, All right. Well,
The thing about the thing about us, really quick, we try to keep it positive. We don't do the negative stuff. We don't just harp on the negative of Star Wars. There's always stuff in Star Wars we're not going to like. But you know what?
Rose. Yeah.
At the at the end of the day, it's Star Wars, and it's like I said, sit down, shut up, and just enjoy it. And that's what we do, and we try and convey that on our show. Nolan, please, I apologize. I said I wouldn't shut up.
No worries, Scott. But make sure you guys go check out Sarlacc Digest. They do a lot of cool things. And like Scott said, his art page, he does some fantastic art, and he does the cool like time-lapse sessions. You got to check it out. They're really cool. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for being on here. Kevin, thank you for leading us in this discussion of the Book of Boba Fett. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Christian, thank you for your triumphant return. We're excited to have you. And Scott, as always, thank you, Scott, for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you. Thank you for everybody commenting. All you got to do to enter, drop that comment by Sunday, 8 p.m., and you'll be entered to win a Funko Pop Boba Fett shipped to you on us, so no worries. All right, make sure you subscribe to Pastrami Nation. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, we're on Pinterest, where we can continue to explode for absolutely no reason, but we do. So
wow.
Yeah.
I haven't explored Pinterest yet. Maybe that's something new.
Yeah, we have about 220,000 people coming through every month. So,
crap.
Yep,
Wow.
I highly suggest you go check it out, Scott.
I will.
All right, everybody. I hope everybody has a great night, and we'll see you on our next episode. Take care.
Keep it nerdy, everybody.